An epic update, a new ship is launched, and a possible shark attack? Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. MSC had a big week with the Euribia being delivered by the shipyard and the World America having its coin ceremony. Wednesday, the Euribia, highly anticipated, at least by me because we're going to sail on her next fall, was delivered into the hands of MSC. This is the most energy-efficient cruise ship designed to date and the final iteration of their Meraviglia class. When in service, the Euribia will emit up to 19% less greenhouse gas emissions per passenger per day than using conventional marine fuels. This amounts to 44% less greenhouse gases per passenger per day than ships built 10 years ago, which will be great for ships like the Euribia that are scheduled to sail around highly regulated seas in places like Norway. The handing off of the Euribia wasn't MSC's only ceremony on Wednesday. They also celebrated the traditional coin ceremony for its next LNG-powered ship, the World America. The coin ceremony is done early on in the shipbuilding process with two commemorative coins being placed under a keel block, once placed by the ship's godmother and the other by the godmother of the shipyard building the ship. We talked last week about NCL canceling the Norwegian Epic's entire winter season in Europe. Well, now we know why. Starting December 17th, the Epic will sail from Port Canaveral on 7-day Eastern and Western Caribbean itineraries. Now, recently, Port Canaveral took the top spot from the Port of Miami, and cruise lines are definitely taking notice. Have you ever sailed out of Port Canaveral? Comment below. I've yet to sail out of any Florida port, but we do have a future cruise out of Fort Lauderdale. We're going to wrap up this news roundup with my reaction to some tragic stories that came out this week. But before we do, if you enjoy this video, maybe even learn something, be sure to let us know by commenting and giving this video a thumbs up. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. By now, you've probably heard of the 35-year-old man who went overboard the Carnival Magic this week. Ronnie Peel Jr. was reported missing on Monday evening, shortly after 6:30 p.m. After cameras were checked, it appeared that he went overboard around 4:10 a.m. that morning, so 14 hours earlier. The statement that Carnival put out said that security footage did confirm that he leaned over the railing of his stateroom balcony and dropped into the water. Now that, to me, is a little ambiguous as to what actually happened, and I'm sure they needed to protect the investigation and the family. And while this is a tragic event, it really does bring a few things into question. Well, many news stations are saying that Peel fell overboard, but anyone who's been on a cruise ship knows that accidentally falling overboard while just leaning on the railing is not going to happen. The railing is just too high. These railings are way too high. They're designed to be too high to accidentally fall over. So unless someone's like well over 7 foot, close to 8 foot, I just can't see someone accidentally, like while leaning on it, having too much of their upper body over and just falling. It's just not possible. They're designed to make that impossible. So there's really only 3 ways that someone does go overboard on a cruise ship. And first of all is if they intentionally jump. Now, maybe they intentionally jumped like the guys we spoke about in one of my videos last week, where they were just trying to get a viral video and they intentionally jumped off and filmed it. You have the other ones that when they're out at sea, they jump with the intention of ending their lives. I don't know why they pick a cruise ship to do it. I don't know. I mean, if they thought about it, the amount of time and money that goes into trying to locate someone just makes that even more of a selfish act than it would normally be. Now, second one, and the least likely, is foul play. Like, it's possible that somebody intentionally throws someone overboard, but that doesn't happen very often. You rarely hear of a case like that. I don't know if it's because they don't have the evidence from it or it just doesn't really happen that often. My guess it's a little bit of both, but that is one way that someone goes overboard. And the last is basically horseplay. Like someone's joking around, messing around, maybe they're drunk, maybe they're trying to get a selfie, whatever. They're climbing on the railings, they're pulling up furniture on the balcony and getting on top of furniture, whatever, but they're not paying attention, they're not being safe, and then they fall overboard. And while, yes, that's an accident, it's an accident that could have been prevented. They weren't just leaning on the railing and accidentally went over. So I still have more questions. And one is, why did his fiance wait 14 hours to report him missing? Now, she said she noticed at 11:30 a.m. when she woke up. And that's fine, because she probably was out all night like he was. I mean, he was up at 4 in the morning. But then she waits 7 hours. And she says that she was frantically searching for him the whole time, which is probably not true. She probably woke up and was like, oh, he's not in the room. He's probably getting something to eat, or maybe he's down doing something else, or maybe he's at the casino, or whatever she thought. And it wasn't until she couldn't locate him after looking in some places, or maybe she tried to get a hold of him via the ship app, whatever, and then she probably would have gone into some panic mode. I would think a normal person would. I just think that 7 hours to finally notify someone is a lot. Like an hour, maybe 2. Ships are big, but they're not that big. So I don't know. It just comes off a little off to me, the time frame. Then there's evidence that she began a GoFundMe within 24 hours of him going missing. Now this would have been put out before they even called off the search. So that seems a little strange to me. Like, what was her intention? What was the money for? If you don't have a body, you don't have someone that's injured that needs, medical attention. I only saw clips from the GoFundMe thing. I didn't read the whole thing myself. So I'm not sure if there was more that she said that explained it, but it just another thing that seems a little off. Now, I'm not saying that there was foul play involved. If that happened, there would have been evidence on the security footage. And while Carnival's statement does appear a little vague, I think there would have been more to the statement had there been something that seemed like it was foul play on the security footage. It just doesn't appear that's the case. But I don't believe that he accidentally fell overboard either. And I do think it's weird that someone grieving and saying that they're still hoping for the best would even think to start a money campaign. Having said that, the FBI is now doing an investigation, which seems a little unusual because while the FBI has to be notified when an American goes overboard, they don't usually get involved and start an investigation unless there's no witnesses or no video evidence, which we know there's video evidence, or they'll get involved if there's suspicious circumstances. So why is the FBI getting involved? And that wasn't the only tragic man overboard story of the week. This past Sunday, 18-year-old Cameron Robbins went overboard on a sunset cruise in the Bahamas. There's grainy video footage that shows that Robbins jumped overboard intentionally, and it seems like it was most likely due to some tauntings from some of the other teens on board the ship. While this story doesn't call into question how Robbins ended up in the water, there is still a lot of mystery surrounding the tragic event. The video shows a buoy nearby, like a life ring, but for some reason, he almost seems to swim away from it, and you can hear some of the teens on board the ship telling him, go to the buoy, and he doesn't. Now, it's possible that the waters were rough, there was an undertow, there was something that was causing him to move against his will further away from the ship. But it is the internet sleuths that have really brought a possible tragic end to the forefront. Based on the videos posted, many believe that a light-colored object seen in the water near Robbins is a shark, and have brought up the possibility that he's been unable to be found due to a shark attack. While I think the video is too poor quality to even begin to know what the object seen in the video really is, the waters are in an area known to be inhabited by bull sharks and tiger sharks, which are both fairly aggressive species. I love it when a good internet sleuth revelation comes to light. But this is one mystery that I hope they got wrong. What do you think? Do you think the object in question looks like a shark? Comment below. Unfortunately, search and rescue operations have been called off for both men, and our hearts really do go out to the families left behind to grieve and speculate. Please be careful when cruising. Don't make stupid and dangerous choices. Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.